It's back to school week for us, and it's so bittersweet. So sad to see the summer come to an end. And I will say it was an absolutely amazing summer. A few bumps, but overall, we were so intentional about balancing family, vacations, adult time, home projects, and we squeezed in some work. But I'm also looking forward to the kids being back at school and having them having a better routine and me having larger time blocks of my day where I'm not playing Uber driver, shuffling kids to and from activities, and having them home in between. But while I might have more time to focus during the school day, the evenings and weekends are becoming jam packed, and it completely throws off whatever balance I was able to create over the summer. And when the evening and weekend schedules start building up, in creeps those competing demands of our time, and reality kicks in that we can't be two or even three places at once, and we have to make some tough decisions when we have those conflicts, the things you need to do versus the things you have to do, competing with the things you want to do. And then the mom guilt creeps in when you have to decide to go to one kid's thing over the other, or have to work and miss some things altogether, or heaven forbid, you choose to do something for yourself. And that's where today's topic comes into play. We're all guilty of the mom guilt. And while we'll probably never be able to get rid of it fully, there are ways to mitigate it with managing your time and your mindset. But first, I want to remind you of my awesome freebie that will make your weekday evenings a lot less stressful and allow you to free up time and headspace and make a little less conflict in your weekly schedule. It's my Save Time and Money with Meal Planning guide that is perfect for busy working moms. The link to grab your free guide is in the show notes, so check it out. Are you feeling overwhelmed trying to juggle all the many hats you wear as a working mom? Do you want more quality time with your family without distraction of work and time alone to take care of yourself and your needs? Welcome to Mom Wife Career Life. I'm Kerri, a wife, mom of three, and a recovering perfectionist. In this podcast, I will teach you how to create balance in your life by implementing healthy habits, organizing your home and your schedule, being intentional with your time and in your relationships, and most importantly, how to start putting your needs first because no one can pour from an empty cup. Grab that second cup of coffee, or if you're anything like me, your third. It's time to dive into today's episode of Mom Wife Career Life. Working mom guilt is way too common and can leave us feeling like we're never doing enough, either at work or at home. But the truth is, you're doing more than enough. And learning to manage both your time and, most importantly, your mindset can really help you overcome this guilt. And that's what we're focusing on today. A huge part of work-life balance is letting go of the guilt, being intentional with how you're spending your time, where you're focusing your energy. And it all starts with doing the inner work and taking the time to really identify what is truly important to you, what your values are, and keeping that at the core of every decision you make in life. So here's how to tackle it head on. Find peace in your choices and feel more balance in your day-to-day. So let's jump right in. First, redefine success on your terms. Let go of unrealistic expectations. Success for you might not look like having a spotless house, cooking gourmet meals every night, or being the perfect employee who never misses a beat. So start by redefining what success looks like based on your priorities. Ask yourself, what matters most to me? When you're clear on what success truly means for you, it's a lot easier to let go of the guilt for not doing everything perfectly. Lately, success to me looks like staying sane on some days, and that's okay. I'm in a very challenging season of work and parenting. And success means trying my best on any given day, trying not to fight with my teens, not forgetting to give Michael some attention in between, and most importantly, giving myself grace. A good practice, and one that I am working on getting back into, is writing down your top 3 priorities for the week. Whether that's quality time with your kids, hitting a deadline at work, or getting some much needed self-care, focus on those and give yourself grace on the rest. The Fox Planner that I've mentioned a couple of times recently, the one that I started using, it actually has a section built in exactly for this. So it's also about being intentional about writing it down and reflecting at the end of the week on what went well, what I can improve on the following week. I'll share the link to the planner in the show notes, but I really highly recommend it if you need those prompts to stay focused. And it's just a great way to just start and get into the habit of doing it. Number 2, embrace the power of no. One of the biggest contributors to working mom guilt is overcommitting. You feel pulled in a million different directions, and it's impossible to give 100% to everything. Learn how to say no without the guilt, whether it's declining an extra project at work or opting out of volunteering for a school event. Remind yourself that saying no to something less important is saying yes to what truly matters to you. By saying yes to whatever it is, you are ultimately saying no to something else, which is probably time with your family. Saying no doesn't make you a bad mom, a wife, or an employee. It makes you a person who knows her limits and really values your time. I've shared that I'm currently in a season of saying no. I've always been the first to raise my hand to help, to lead a committee or whatever the ask was, but I made a commitment to myself to finish creating my time management course by the end of October and get it launched before the end of the year. And in order to keep to that schedule, I need to be so focused and intentional with my time because I'm also not sacrificing my family time either. So it's staying focused on what's important to me in this season and being so unapologetic about it. And on that note, I will be opening up a waitlist for my course in the next few weeks. There will be special discounts and bonuses for those that get your name on there. So keep an eye out for it. I'm opening it up to my Facebook group first. So if you're not already part of that community, come join us at Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. But back to saying no. It's a lot easier to say no to things when you take the time to get to the core of what your values are, what's important to you, and what really just brings joy to your life. Number 3, set boundaries to protect your time. Boundaries are really crucial for managing guilt. Clear boundaries between work and home life can really help you stay present in the moment. The most important boundary you can set is with work. You spend half of your waking hours each weekday between working, getting ready for work, commuting home from work or to work. And if you go into work, then it's easier to set a clear boundary because when you leave the office, you should be leaving work behind. If you need to catch up on some emails or some work on your commute home, then so be it. But the moment you get off that bus or train, you need to go into life mode and shift your focus on your life outside of work. If you work from home, it's actually a lot harder. Having a separate workspace is the best way to be able to set those boundaries because once you hit 5 p.m. or whatever time your workday ends, you close that computer and you walk away. I spend half of the week working out of my kitchen, and that is not the healthiest place to work, partially because I'm staring at food all day, but also because it's getting increasingly harder to end my day at 5 because I leave my computer and my double monitor set up on the counter, which I'm totally working on correcting. I'm waiting for my new desk to get delivered, and I'm creating another workspace in our family room. And I'm going to be so intentional about leaving work on that desk and closing that computer at 5 and getting back to those healthy boundaries I once had. But my point is, set a specific end time for your workday and stick to it and communicate with your employer and your family about these boundaries so everyone's on the same page. And if you work from home, it's really a good practice to establish a routine that allows you to transition out of work mode and into home mode. Maybe it's taking a 10-minute walk after work or changing into comfy clothes to signal your brain that work time is over. Number 4, prioritize quality over quantity. It's really easy to feel guilty about not spending enough time with your kids, but it's not about the hours you spend. It's about the quality of the time that you're spending. So make the moments you do have with your family really meaningful. A focused 30 minutes of playing with your child can mean more to them than an entire afternoon of you being distracted. And show up for the important things, the recitals, the playoffs, the plays. Unless you are saving lives, those things are more important than any job you have. Think about it. Your kids are under your roof for 18-ish years, and most sports and stuff start around the age of 5. So that's really only 13 major events for that activity in their life, and that's if they do it for their whole time. They will notice and remember if mom wasn't there in the stands, in the audience, or on the sidelines. Now, if your kid is in a more serious activity like a dance or cheer competition team, and they are dancing and cheering every weekend and have to travel and miss school for their competitions, then that's a way bigger time commitment. And I don't know how moms swing that travel schedule and work. God bless you, mamas that have those schedules. It might sound a little selfish to me, but I'm kind of glad my kids didn't choose anything with extreme time commitments. But back to quality over quantity. Being intentional with your time you have is what is important. Instead of focusing on the amount of time you're spending, shift your focus to how intentional and present you are during the time you have. Put down the phone, play a game, have a conversation, be mindful when your mind starts to wander, and bring it back to whatever you're doing. And if your cell phone is your big distractor, I have an awesome freebie for you. It's my Tech Timeout Guides for Moms. It gives you a bunch of tips on how to set those boundaries with your cell phone. So check out the show notes to get your download today. Number 5, let go of comparison and judgment. I've said it a few times on this podcast, but comparison is truly the thief of joy, and it really is. Do not compare yourself to other moms. We are not all alike. We are not all built the same. We come from different backgrounds, have had to deal with different challenges in our lives. We're all dealing with different challenges in our lives. have different financial situations, and we all have different needs, different goals, and different things that make us happy. Some moms choose to work and focus on their careers because that is something that's important to them, and that is okay. Some moms choose to be stay-at-home moms because they can afford to do so. And some moms choose to stay home but have to seriously budget their family or make sacrifices in some areas because it's more important to them to be home with their kids than to go on a big vacation every year or to live in a bigger house. Some moms have to work and are not able to use their vacation days to volunteer at school because they only get so many and have to save those extra days for when their kids get sick and they don't have childcare. And some moms are able to have a career and somehow show up to all the things, and you look at them and you wonder if they ever sleep because you don't know how they do it all and make it look so effortless. I totally strive to be that mom. The only person you should ever compare yourself is to the person you were yesterday. We are all on our own journeys. We are all just trying to do our best. And if you have to miss things because of work, talk to your kids about it. Explain why, whatever the reason may be, and that is age appropriate. Use it as a teachable moment, whether it's because you need the money and you want to explain to them the whole income versus expenses, or if you want to stress to them that it's okay to work and want to be successful and be a mom too. But sometimes that means that you have to miss things. When I was in my 20s, I was out at a business lunch with a bunch of women, and we all happened to be moms. I was very young. I was a new mom, and they all had older children than mine. And one of them said that she was a better mom because she works, that she would go nuts being home all day with her kids. I heard that and I thought she was crazy. Again, another judgmental thing that I want to go back and slap my younger self in the head for. I thought, who wouldn't want to be home with their kids all day? Who would rather work and miss out on all those moments? But fast forward to my present self, who has seen a lot and worked with a lot of moms over the years. Being a stay-at-home mom is not for everyone. Some moms need the mental break away from their home. Some need a purpose and an identity outside of motherhood. I know I do. I love being a mom. It's the best thing that seriously has ever happened to me outside of meeting and marrying Russ, but I couldn't not work. I could not do my corporate job in a heartbeat, but if I could afford to not work, I would still be doing this podcast and coaching. I'd be out volunteering and doing stuff in the community. But the point is, we're all just built differently. We are all unique. And at the end of the day, we're all just trying to do our best as moms. Number 6, let go of perfectionism. Us working moms often feel guilty because we're striving for perfection in every area of our life, but perfection is impossible. It took me many years to learn this. And chasing perfection totally leads to burnout. Let go of the idea that you need to be a perfect mom or employee. Allow yourself to make mistakes, to have off days, and to be human. I'm still very much a work in progress on this one. I'm so much better than I used to be, but my perfectionist tendencies creep in all the time. But I've adapted a mantra: action over perfection. Perfection really can slow you down, and the sooner you get over it, the more efficient you become and the more you can get done in a day. And most times, done is better than perfect. So try to focus on progress, not perfection, in all areas of your life. Number 7, delegate and outsource. You don't have to do it all yourself. Delegating tasks, whether at home or at work, can really relieve a lot of the pressure and reduce the guilt you feel. If possible, outsource tasks that drain your time and your energy. Hiring a cleaning service, ordering groceries online, or getting help with childcare can really make a huge difference in your overall time management. My goal is to hire a cleaning person or service before the end of September. I've been saying that I'm going to do it for over a year now. And while I have saved all of that money doing it myself, I've wasted a lot of time that I could have spent on other goals like finishing creating my course or finishing my basement project. So try to identify the tasks that take up a lot of your time that you are able to and can afford to outsource and get them off your plate. Number 8, reframe your internal dialogue. The way you talk to yourself matters. If you're constantly telling yourself you're not doing enough, you feel guilty no matter how much you're actually accomplishing. Reframe that internal dialogue by focusing on the positive. If you take the time to celebrate the things you did accomplish instead of fixating on the things you didn't get done, it can really make a big difference. Again, the Fox Planner is perfect for this to get you in the right mindset, but you can also just journal about it or start with shifting your mindset. Instead of saying, I didn't spend enough time with the kids today, try saying, I gave my best today and I spent meaningful time with the kids, even if it was just 5 minutes. Make it intentional. Number 9, practice self-compassion. You're only human, and motherhood is a marathon, not a sprint. Practice self-compassion by treating yourself with the same kindness that you would offer a friend. Jay Shetty shared a post recently of someone he follows on Twitter, and I actually shared it in my story. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have saw it. But the post said, if you wouldn't say it to a friend, then you shouldn't say it to yourself. Let that one sink in for a bit. We are our own worst critics, and we say some really terrible stuff to ourselves. Let's make it a point to stop the negative self-talk. When that guilt creeps in, remind yourself that you're doing your best, and that's enough. Taking care of yourself is not selfish. It is necessary. You can't pour from an empty cup, so prioritize your own well-being without the guilt. Give yourself grace. I hope at this point you hear my voice in your head when you're being mean to yourself or feeling inadequate. I think I say it in 9 out of 10 episodes because it's that important. Give yourself grace. Number 10, create a guilt-free daily plan. Plan your days with intention and flexibility. Focus on what needs to be done, but also make space for the unexpected. Life with kids is so unpredictable, and that's okay. When things don't go according to plan, here it is again. Give yourself grace. Practice self-forgiveness and adjust your schedule as needed. When you plan your days, you have way more control of your time, especially if you're leaving some buffer time in between your tasks. But if you aren't planning your days, then it's a free-for-all. You're not being intentional with how you're spending your time. And at the end of the day, you're going to question, where did your day go? But if you're planning and if you have a good morning and evening routine, you're making sure that you have some positive, healthy habits to start and end your day with. And in between, you're blocking some time to do the important things. And you'll have a lot less guilt over whatever you didn't get done. And bonus tip, number 11, celebrate the wins, big and small. Guilt often comes from feeling like you're not accomplishing enough. But the truth is, you're really doing amazing things every day. Our mind tends to focus on all the things we didn't do. And no one is more guilty of that than me. But I have to constantly remind myself to focus on the things I did do. And when I do, I'm actually surprised at how much I did get done. And Russ is really good at helping me with this when I'm being down on myself for all the things I didn't do. He really lifts me up and helps me focus on the things that I did do, or the fact that at the end of the day, life goes on. And if it's an important thing, it will get done another day. And if it's not an important thing, does it really matter anyway? Not everyone has a Russ in their life, but if you're listening to this podcast, then you do have me. So I'm telling you, celebrate the wins, whether it's nailing that work presentation, getting the kids to bed on time, or simply making it through a day with a smile and not losing your mind. Celebrate it. Acknowledging your successes helps shift your mindset from guilt to gratitude. And ending your day with gratitude, spending a few minutes while you're in bed with your eyes closed, focusing on the things that you are grateful for and thanking God for them is such a great way to get rid of the guilt. Overcoming working mom guilt isn't about magically finding more hours in the day. It's about changing your mindset, setting realistic expectations, planning your week, focusing on those non-negotiables, being intentional with your time, and really recognizing that you're really already doing a great job. By managing your time with intention and shifting your perspective, you can reduce that guilt, and that's where you're going to find more of that balance in your life. Remember, you're not alone in this journey. Every working mom feels this way at some point, and by making these little small shifts, you can overcome the guilt and start enjoying the beautiful chaos of motherhood a little more. And you can come hang out with other working moms that are on this same journey in our Facebook community at Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. We'd love to have you. If you don't already follow the show, take a second and hit that follow button so you never miss another episode. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Life Career Life with Kerri Pat. Before you go, if you found this podcast helpful, I would be so grateful if you would take a minute, go on over to iTunes and leave me a review. If you have other stressed out mamas in your life that you feel this podcast could help, take a screenshot of this episode, post it on your Instagram stories and tag me, and let them know that they are not alone and they can create balance in their life too. If there's a topic you'd like me to cover or you just want to connect, DM me on Instagram at mom.wife.career.life or come on over and hang out in our free Facebook community, Work-Life Balance for Working Moms. Sending you so much love and light until next time on Mom Life Career Life with Kerri Pat.